So
Like
hard.
like Wade's son Hugh like sent a message the other day, like he was at the studios and he had one of those. I'm like, no, don't
God,
do that to me. It kills me.
that's craving. That's so hard to
Dude,
do.
that thing is so good.
It is. It's something about it, man. I'm having one of those so bad.
Well, and it's just not that we talked about like, oh yeah, you can make it at home. It's like that whole atmosphere with like the palm trees and the background loop,
Totally.
the, all the noise and the chatter. Like, oh
Yeah,
man,
fighting for a
that's my
table.
favorite
Coke Zero.
part about Disney. Actually, it's just like just being in like those atmospheres, those
Right.
environments, man.
100%. We got to talk about that a little bit on Friday too. That'd be good. Okay, here we go. Oh wait, let me hit the tweet. Tweet and boom.
Tweet,
Okay.
tweet, tweet,
Hey,
tweet, tweet.
everybody, we are rocking. Ronda Lee, you're first as always.
Sing like the birdies sing. Tweet, tweet.
Tweet, tweet.
Every time you say like I said the tweet, I get that stuck in
All
my
right,
head.
here we go. Hey, it's still light outside, and we're starting there here at least.
Well, it's dark here, man. It's already too late for
A
that.
little light here. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 2202 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you are having a rocking week, and thanks for joining us here on the podcast. As we do every Wednesday, we tackle your listener questions. And today, Pam is out on the West Coast taking care of business, literally taking care of business for all of us Disney fans, meeting with the bigwigs out there. But I'm sure she's having a lot of fun too. Don't be fooled. When Pam goes out for business, she's in the right kind of business, right? Disney. So there's always a lot of fun to be mixed in there. So yeah, I can't wait till she gets back and tells us about this trip. So today, joining me to answer those listener questions, it's your friend of mine, hashtag Scotty G up in the mitten. What's up, Scott?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. I say this all the time. This is one of my favorite shows to record. I love the listener questions because you never know what you're going to get. I like the surprise element, and the listeners always ask great questions. So excited to be here today.
So I do have an important announcement at the beginning of the show today, and you would appreciate it more than anybody else. So I just wanted to break this news because people might have been wondering on the social media out there in podcast land that after much consideration and thought, I have decided not to enter the transfer portal this year. I'm going to stay where I am and ride this one out and just see how things go here on the Be Our Guest podcast. So hopefully you're not. Are anybody else entering the portal this year?
I might be entering the portal. I'm trying to figure out what do I get out of this podcast. I'm just kidding. I get so much out of this podcast. This is so much fun. Like I look forward to doing this all the time with you. So I'm gonna stay pat. I'm staying with no transfer. Unless if you're gonna kick me off the team, like is that a possibility?
Apparently, I mean, unless Deion Sanders rolls in and he tells you that, hey man, I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis Vuitton and you're hit the portal, buddy. Anyway, this is again, you and I get together, it turns into football. So let's talk Disney. So real quick, in some breaking news a couple of days ago, the thing that I think is never going to happen, and I was just going to ask you because you have a passport because you're up by Michigan, so you do actually have marathons where you got to have a passport or a passport card because you run into Canada during the race and then run back, and you got to have it with you.
It's one of the coolest races. We should do it next year for my 40th.
I'll
get you a passport.
Let me know. I'll sign up. But here's the thing. We found out earlier this week that Real ID thing, which is what I was going to get when I have to renew my driver's license here in a few, this summer or whatever, pushed back till 2025. This thing is never going to happen, I don't think. Like, what are they doing with this?
I know.
2018, I think, was when it was originally supposed to happen.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Like, it'll be like 2050. The next thing we know, right? It's always going to get pushed back. But you should look into the passport. I know for like when you cruise too, like you just do the birth certificate.
Yeah.
Like I did the passport card originally, and that was just fine for cruising too, like as long as you're like going to like those Caribbean islands or whatever. So recommend the passport cards so you can run the Detroit half with me on my birthday, my big 4-0.
I do need to I need to get on that because that's the one thing that kept me from finishing out my Survivor application and Amazing Race a couple of times. That got to have a passport. So I was out. So there you go.
Missing out, man.
I know. And shout out to Len and Jen, who are finally at Walt Disney World right now. They've been in the chat room for the last several months talking about this upcoming trip. Well, they're there right now as we're recording, actually checking in live from Pandora. They're waiting for the Tree of Life awakening here shortly. So
love that
you've
show.
been to that.
That's an underrated show.
It is. It is because it's easy. It's one of the things at Walt Disney World is easy, really easy.
Like even like everything to do around the Tree of Life, like that bird, like the macaws or whatever, like that bird show that they do, like that is spectacular. I love that thing.
And those birds look so real. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's one of those things like Disney they're crossing that line, you know, they're real, but they're trained. I mean, it's scary how well those things are trained. Like they could, if they wanted to, I don't know if you saw that viral clip it was probably about 2 weeks ago where some bird snuck like a reporter's AirPod right out of his ear during the live shot. Did you see that?
I missed that.
Yeah, look on YouTube. They could totally like train these birds to go out there and be like, just get the AirPod Pro 2s. Like, you know, just get the really expensive and new ones. And like, you know, it's like 16 of those birds, man. They could get like, you know, several $1,000s worth of AirPods every ship and just gone.
So speaking of birds in Animal Kingdom, not to go on a tangent here, but and I'll probably talk about this on a future trip report, but you know, I love Flame Tree Barbecue. And I don't know about you, Mike, but like when Satuli Canteen opened up, like I stopped giving the love to Flame Tree because I kept going over there. You know?
I haven't been to Flame Tree Barbecue since Santulli opened up, and I love Flame Tree. It smells so good. It should be illegal how good it smells.
I know. So like we made the decision, like, all right, we're going to Flame Tree this time, you know, like we got to do it. And then Emily, you know, like she hates like all those birds around there.
Right.
And she was like, all right, I'll suck it up, guys. Like, I'll be tough. We'll go to Flame Tree. And like, because we haven't been there in so long, like you were saying, it's been years since we've been to Flame Tree. And guess what? They kind of like redid the decorations around there, the decor, where they have like these wires that prevent the birds from going in all those spaces. So it was bird free, Mike. It was amazing.
My gosh, it's a holiday miracle. And it's how ironic is it? It's Disney's Animal Kingdom Park. And they have to keep the birds out.
But we got our spot that we love, you know, like right on, like you have to go deep, right? You have to go deep beyond Flame Tree, but like it's worth the walk. I mean, you're carrying like 3 drinks, like you know, you've done like a half marathon basically to get to this table, but then you sit down and then boom, you're looking over the water, you see Everest, and there were no birds flying around, and you had good barbecue. So
the payoff is worth it. You got to go back there in those tables. That's where we recorded our very first ever live Be Our Guest podcast in 2009. It was crazy. So anyway, let's get the list of questions. That's why we're here. We got a question in the inbox from Courtney. She's down in Lilburn, Georgia. It says, hey, Mike, Pam, Ricky. She says, baby girl, Ricky, and Scott. First, I want to say that I love your show. I've been listening for over a year now, and I feel like we're all friends. I could really get my Disney fix while I'm anxiously waiting for our next trip to the world. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Second, I have a question about Park Hopper. We're headed down in 2 weeks with another family of 4, total of 8 people in total. My family and I go all the time. So we know that we are not a fan of the Park Hopper because of our little kids. My family originally planned not to go to Animal Kingdom because we just went in May and would rather spend our time at Epcot. The family we're going with does not get to go all the time, and they're really worried that Epcot has nothing to offer their 9 and 11-year-olds, even though I rave about Epcot constantly. My question is, we have 2-day tickets. If they decide on that second day that they want to do the Park Hopper, how does that work? I know usually Park Hopper applies to all the tickets, but if there's only 1 day left in our trip, will it just apply and charge us for that last day? Okay, let me just stop there. She has one other question. Here's the deal. Park Hopper is an all or nothing proposition with Magic Your Way tickets. You're going to be charged even if you add it the second day, you're paying for it on day 1 and 2. You're paying for it the length of the tickets. It doesn't matter. You're paying the same price that people would pay for 10-day tickets for the Park Hopper for 2 days, 1 day, 10 day. It does not matter. So if you're going to use the Park Hopper, it's for the length of your ticket. Add it prior to even going down. And it does give you flexibility. I know that we're kind of spoiled because both you and I have been annual pass holders for quite a while, and it's kind of built into the annual pass. I could see where, you know, you may not want to use a Park Hopper for, you know, if you have little kids and you're very disciplined and you're going down and you can Because, I think the hack around using a park hopper is to go early in the morning, take a midday break, go back to the same park in the evening. It kind of feels like you're breaking up your day. It's almost like hopping, but you're hopping to the same park. Maybe do like the left side of the park and, like Adventureland, Frontierland kind of stuff in the morning, then go to Tomorrowland and Fantasyland or whatever in the evening to kind of break it up, or like World Showcase, Future World kind of thing. But what do you think about that? I mean, they're going 2 days, and what's the argument for 9 and 11-year-old? Epcot has nothing to offer.
I think there's still plenty to offer for a 9 and 11-year-old at Epcot. I mean, but again, like I'm like not your usual, like, I'm not your average Disney fan. Like I'm a uber Disney fan. So like I think a 9, 11-year-old would love Frozen Ever After. I think that's a great attraction. Living with the Land, Soarin'. I mean, I think there's so many great attractions in Future World and World Showcase for a 9 and 11-year-old to enjoy. And to your point about the park hopper, yeah, we're spoiled with the annual passes, and you said, Mike, yeah, you can go early in the morning to one park and then go late at night, like do the other side of the park. But there's something to me about it, just feels like it's a brand new day when you go to one park in the morning, you take a nap, you swim or whatever, get some lunch, and then you come back to a brand new park. It almost feels like you just like re-energized because like, oh man, like we're starting a brand new day over. We're going to a new theme park. And there's something about that excitement to me. And I think the 9 and 11-year-olds would like that. Like, hey, let's see more stuff, and then I'm always big on park hopping to Epcot because I love Harmonious. And then you can see the awesome nighttime show with the fountains and the fireworks. So I would be all for the park hopping.
Yeah. My thing with that is if you're thinking you want the park hopper, just go ahead and get it. I know it's a cost, but it's one of those things you get down there and you just feel like you're missing out. Like it's one of those things you're going to have a regret. Don't have a regret. You're paying a lot for the vacation already. Add it on park hop, but that's the thing. You definitely got to get it before the trip even starts. So you can use it the entire trip. You don't want to use it at the end, buy it at the end, because you're wasting your money at that point. Because
maybe don't park hop to Epcot. Like it opens up more. We always talk about how we're tied to the park pass and like there's no spontaneity, but the park hopper adds that. And you can decide, you know what, let's go to the studios instead. Like it opens up all those possibilities to your day. So I know it's more expensive to add, but I really think there is value in getting the park hopper. I really do.
It's a hack around the theme park reservations, for that 2 o'clock. You can usually go wherever you want, which is kind of nice. And she says, third, have you heard of Standby Skipper? I just recently discovered it and purchased it for my 2 days coming up. It apparently makes all of your Genie Plus reservations for me, so I don't have to wake up at 7 a.m. to schedule my first one, and I'm not constantly on my phone during the day trying to find the best time. I want to get every moment and experience out of our upcoming Christmas trip, so I'm excited to try out this app. FYI, it looks like it's only available for Apple. Thanks for all you guys do. Sincerely, Courtney. I've never heard of that, and I'm very wary of stuff like that because of how Genie Plus works, it has to work through your My Disney Experience app. And I just don't know. I mean, maybe it does work, but I'm a control freak, what I'm saying? And I don't like to give over that kind of control. So
yeah, I never heard of that either. I thought maybe it was like a Jungle Cruise skipper is making your Genie selections for you. And maybe that's what it is. It's like a side hustle that the skippers at Jungle Cruise have created where they do your Genie Plus for you. Like, I don't know. I've never heard of that. I'm with you, Mike, though. I'm not like a control freak, but I like to have my hands on whatever I'm doing, So like I would like to make those decisions or someone in my group. It's funny because like I don't like to make a decision what my family wants to have for dinner on a regular basis, but for some reason on my Disney trip, I like to have that control,
And I just like to say, where are we eating, Scott, when I'm there for marathon weekend? And it's always the right answer. So I trust you, man. And we go to the right parks, go to the right restaurants, we go to the right rides. Yeah. I'm like, cool. All right. Jessica's got a question here in the live chat. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. If you had to be in a park on President's Day, which park would you go to? So President's Day weekend, if you don't know, down at Walt Disney World, parallels Martin Luther King weekend. It's kind of like two mirror weekends, January and February. Extremely busy at Walt Disney World because I think folks from climates like mine, like Scott's, we just want to get away from the winter for a weekend. Obviously, the kids are out of school. A lot of folks have 3-4 day weekend from work, and especially President's Weekend. Spring training's going on too. It's a great weekend to go down, but it's extremely busy in the parks. I would tend to say Epcot on the busiest days because Epcot handles the crowds the best. It's just very spread out. That's what I would say. But Scott, what about you?
And if we're talking specifically President's Day, we always say like Magic Kingdom Monday, right? Magic Kingdom is always like swamped on Mondays. and President's Day would be a Monday. It's a holiday, and that's where everyone wants to be, right? Everyone wants to go to a Hall of Presidents, maybe, to celebrate our great history with our presidents. But you can still kind of do that at Epcot too, right? With American Adventure. I know it's under refurb right now. Not sure if it's going to be back up and running then, but like just hanging out in the American Pavilion would be an awesome thing to do on President's Day. And I feel like I've done that before because I tend to be there a lot. As Mike said, we like to get away from those winter climates here in the north and, go south when the school schedule allows for those longer weekends. But Epcot would be my pick too, for sure.
All right, good call. And Amy is live in our Facebook chat, and she says, "My son's favorite park growing up when he was 10 years old was Epcot. Now he's 15, and he's more into the studios." But yeah, you know what? Epcot really does have a lot because you might not think about it, but I mean, Living with the Land is my favorite attraction. But even when my daughters were younger, they loved Living with the Land. You got the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Soarin' is one the kids like. Test Track, for like you said, Frozen Ever After. And just to explore the nations, the countries, World Showcase. The kids would have a blast in Epcot. Yeah, I know we've kind of moved past that question, but the more I think about it, man, sell them on Epcot. You guys have a blast.
Always sell them on it. I mean, it's my favorite part. I mean, I'm Epcot for crying out loud. But one of my favorite things we've ever done, I think I've talked about it on before. We even wrote a blog post for Ricky's site on it. It was around the world in $80. So I know you're like, it's adding more money to your budget, but we gave Emily an $80 gift card when she was like 6 or 7 years old. And the rule was she had to go buy something at every pavilion. So it gave us an excuse to explore every pavilion in World Showcase. And she had to buy something. But, she started in Mexico, Mike, and bought like a $25 purse. So then we were like doing the math, like, all right, so 80 minus your 25. Like we got out the pen and paper. She's doing the math, doing some division to figure out like what her budget is left for the 10 remaining countries. And like, it just became like a game, and it got her like exploring, going deep into the pavilions, and that's a memory we'll never forget. It was like one of the most fun experiences we ever had at Epcot.
And that's a great idea, except with inflation, it's gonna have to be around the
I know it's gonna be like $180 now.
Exactly. 80 is gonna get you about to China.
I'm about to say, like, even then, like 5, 6, 7 years, I don't even know how long ago it was. Like in Italy, it was like 2 chocolates is what she ended up getting.
Could I have an Italian glass of water? No, here's a bottle. No, I can't afford the bottle of water. I just need a cup.
And one was the Canadian like flag, like on a stick, which still sits on her bookshelf. A lot of that stuff, like she got this Eiffel Tower thing in France, like it all like kind of sits on her bookshelf still.
Right.
Like,
but
it was a really cool thing.
Those are like tchotchkes and stuff. Like you remember the day from those little bitty things. You throw the little flag on your dresser. Yeah. I like that. That's a great idea. Around the world in $80.
But now it has to be 180.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Kim is actually one of our listeners. She's a PhotoPass photographer right now on duty in Epcot. I believe she says she's in Morocco tonight. So if you're at Epcot, go see Kim and get your picture done there. She has a fun tip for everybody. She says, if you're looking for something fun and cheap to do with the whole family, Pop Century and Art of Animation have the tie-dyed shirts and pillowcases you can design every afternoon. Shirts are only $17, and I think the pillowcases are $9-ish, she says. They end up with a Mickey on them. They turn out awesome, but it's definitely a must-do if you're looking for something new to try. I've seen this at Pop Century, and it is cool. Usually they do them a lot of times kind of set up either outside Everything Pop, kind of by where the big numbers are, or over by where they make the s'mores, kind of where the it was like Goofy with a surfboard and a Corvette or something. Some kind of a car.
I did it once in a weird spot because it was raining. So it was like over by the old like airline luggage resort, like off to the side there because there was like an overhang. So we did it over there. Like Kim is spot on though. Those are really fun, and they're fun souvenirs to take back home.
Yeah, there's a lot of resorts that do stuff like that. I know Beach Club, we had the girls there for a marathon weekend. It was like really cold. It was really miserable weather. We went into the solarium at the Beach Club Villas. Yeah. And you could do like paint porcelain little figures for like, $5 to $10. And
you'll see that a lot of the DVC resorts will do that with their like DVC member play area. And you don't have to necessarily be a DVC member to participate in those. Like you might get like a discount if you're a DVC member, but outside of that, like it's really open to everyone.
And that's again, you think about it, because that is something that is relatively inexpensive that you go home with, a souvenir that you actually physically made. Like I think that's something. And like it's kind of like with Emily's, Around the World in 8 Days, like she didn't make any of that stuff, but you go home with kind of like it was part of an adventure. There's a story about it. That's why I like my medals with Run Disney. Like you have a story behind that medal. It's not just something you went into the Emporium and grabbed.
I know Mallory and Emily had a riot though making the stuff at the beach club, and like it was just fun because like then it was like the anticipation, because usually when you make something like that, they got to know your checkout day because it might take like a few days to fire it up or whatever, and like all the build up, like, oh, what's it gonna look like, in a few days, like I don't know, it's just fun.
I wonder how many of those get left behind. I'm sure a bunch, because they're like,
Oh,
"Hey, we're at the Magic Kingdom. We got to get on our flight." Like, too
yeah,
bad your
yeah.
elephant is just gonna be
Yeah.
donated.
You know what they're doing at like California Grill? Like I saw that when we were staying at the Contemporary. It was like Fridays and Mondays or something. You can go up to the California Grill and do something like that. Like now that is a cool
That
experience.
is
Like
cool.
you don't want to spend like the $100 prefix meal or whatever it is now at Top of the World, but instead you can like do a craft. You can look down on the Magic Kingdom. That's kind of a cool alternative.
If you've never been up there, get up there, because I've never eaten there, but I've been up there for a couple of events. It's gorgeous up there, man. You just got whatever the
Gotta get
excuse
you up
is.
there one of these race weekends. Like I know it's so expensive right now, but
I
like
would try it. I would
I
try
want
it.
you to see a sunset from up there, like,
Yeah.
and then like do fireworks. It's
I
impossible
would
to
eat
beat.
there totally when it was just me, because it's not so expensive when it's just one person, and I eat that kind of stuff. The problem is I'm not taking my family because nobody eats the fancy food.
All right,
Like,
we
nobody
might
eats.
maybe for Princess Weekend. I kind of already have marathon lockdown.
Yeah,
Maybe for
no, it's
Princess we'll
cool.
go.
Yeah, totally. It'll be super romantic. Yeah, no, I
You and me.
forgot where we were. Oh, we were at the we were at El Azteca, our Mexican place. Somebody ordered like shrimp fajitas or something, and Pam almost fell out. Like, I mean, it smelled good to me because I like seafood, but it was so strong, So I'm like, I'm never gonna get to go to
We'll have like
fancy places.
the rest of the people will just have like we'll take a big group. Everyone will have their own table, but you and I will just like have a
Like,
window seat. You and
table
me.
for two, so we can see the fireworks, please.
Yeah.
We're podcasters. Okay, next question is from Chip. He says, I do have a question for you guys. Wife and I are going on the Dream in January for a 4-night cruise. Ideas for tips for the day in Nassau and the day at sea. We have Palo brunch on the day at sea, winning. That's the best thing to do. But any other ideas? Thanks. So Nassau, Nassau, I don't get off the ship anymore. I'll be honest, because here's the thing. It looks, and I'm just being brutally honest about Nassau. Nassau, if it's your first time in Nassau, get off and you can walk around. It's okay, but you're going to quickly, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but you're going to quickly discover that the Disney Dream is 10 times more lush than anything you're going to encounter on the island of Nassau. Nassau's okay. It's got, I mean, we went in there, we took Paige and Hannah before they were 21. I think they were 20. And so they wanted to go have a drink. So we were on a cruise and nobody was driving. And so we took them to Senior Frogs right there on the pier with that was a bad idea. Because that was kind of a dirty place. They have a straw market. Now here's my tip. If you want to like buy a souvenir from Nassau or something, you can go into the straw market, which means you get off the ship, you walk on the pier, you're immediately into the straw market. And that's where like all the local vendors are. You can buy like little purses made out of, straw and all the tchotchkes and all the little souvenirs. Now you can walk through there, then you're into Nassau proper, downtown. And you can walk around. There's like Swatch stores, there's, jewelry stores, and it's fine. It's totally fine. But there's not a lot to do. You can go over to Atlantis. That's what a lot of people do. They get a water taxi or a regular taxi over to Atlantis, to the big casino that you'll see. There's a casino there, so you can gamble if you want. You can do a dolphin excursion. That's what a lot of people do. I tended to stay on the ship because some people, probably 25, 30, 35% of the people get off the ship. So there's it's a good time to ride the aqueduct. It's a lot of, good time to swim in the pools, a lot of time just to hang out on the ship. I almost treat it as a second sea day. But what about you for Nassau? What are you thinking?
I can't say anything different than that, what you just said, Mike. Like our first couple cruises, yeah, we got off. I think one time with you, we went to Senor Frogs too. That was the day that we had tequila and mixology afterwards. That was a fun day.
We gotta hurry because we got to get back for mixology. Yeah, that was
basically. But yeah, like and Dennis even says something about like stretching the leg. Sometimes it's good just to get off the ship, maybe if you want to just like look around. But like I don't go too far into Nassau. Our friend Georgia jokingly says like he always gets off to get a Starbucks, then comes back on the ship, just to stretch the legs out a little bit. But definitely make it a sea day. Like the ship is what I love the most. And I know everyone's kind of different, but like I'm there for the ship. And like the last cruise I did like over Memorial Day weekend, we didn't get off for Nassau and we just had so much fun. There was so much trivia going on. We hung out at the pool for a couple hours, did a bunch of character meet and greets. You can do so much on that day that I think you'll get more value out of than trying to stress yourself getting off the ship and all that. Because sometimes getting on and off, it can be stressful, right? Like you don't want to miss like you're calling for the port. Just have a laid back day, have a chill breakfast, maybe like a lunch at one of the table service places instead of the quick grab and goes, like, and just make it a fun day on the ship.
And the thing is, I'm from Missouri, right? So I've never been to New York City. I've rarely been in like big metropolitan areas in my life. Like we go to Chicago every once in a while, and we'll be going more because of Paige. But like when you go into Nassau, the locals do, especially like with Paige and Mallory, they both have long hair. They come up to them constantly and like want to braid their hair and like want to sell them stuff. And like I understand that that's how they're trying to make their living, locals in the Bahamas. But that's super uncomfortable to me because like I understand and like but I mean my girls don't want to get their hair braided. Like that's not how they wear their hair. And like it's just one person after the next sometimes. And you want to do that, but then if you give somebody some money, then everybody's on you. It doesn't happen every cruise, but it has happened. And so I just like to, the ship is just, you're paying to be on that wonderful ship. I like to stay on there. Now the day at sea, here's the thing about the day at sea. Look at your personal navigator before the day at sea. Because what happens is the day at sea, Disney Cruise Line loads up with fun activities for the sea day. I mean, you're going to have all kinds of stuff. You're going to have a lot of adult activities in the adult area. I mean, there may be things like a belly flop, and it's always fun stuff like a belly flop contest or like adults 80s trivia in the pub or family. Like we did a family thing where they gave us like a potato and you had to turn it into a race car and you raced them, down in Evolution. And it was really
300.
Yeah,
or whatever it's called.
It was, there's all this crazy towel folding. They can show you like how do they make those towels? You make them just like they make for your rooms each night. Lots of character meet and greets, like you just said. So check out, your sea day. You can be as busy as you want. I mean, you can go, and I love the sea day for all the activities, but you could also just do nothing on the sea day. Just sit there by the pool and just watch the water all day. And that's awesome. But I love, like, I'm going from trivia to this, to that, because you just don't get to do that kind of stuff. I mean, we did fantasy baseball draft one time, and it was the weirdest thing. But it was awesome. Like it's so unique. I did World Cup, this kind of soccer game, because World Cup was going on one time while we were in there, and I didn't even understand what this thing was, but it was fun. I just like that international flavor. So I say check out the Navigator before and really plan out your sea day, because you can do a ton of cool stuff.
Yep.
All right, let's get to real quick. Diane says the port was under construction in August. Not sure if it's done now. We either go to check out Atlantis, where we booked the excursion for the Blue Lagoon. That sounds nice. Thanks, Diane. All right. Michelle says, let's see here. My parents may not do any park days with us. I think it's just too much walking. You guys just had a great episode about doing resort days. Thank you for that. So many great ideas. Their plan is just to enjoy the beach club, the boardwalk area, take the Skyliner to the Riviera and check that out. Resort hop and hang out at the lounges. Please thank Pam for her endorsement of the resort lounges. We definitely will. I'm sure she's enjoying quite a few out at Disneyland right now. Anyways, my question is, do you need park tickets to go on the Harmonious Fireworks Cruise? I'm thinking of booking that for our family, but as my parents won't have park tickets, is this something they can do? Thanks, Michelle. Good news, Michelle. You do not need theme park tickets to do the fireworks cruises, because you do not. I mean, you technically, I guess you kind of enter the park on the pontoon boat. You go into the bridge by France, but you do not go through any touch points. So you do not need tickets. So boom, do that. And I've done that many times. I did that like 2 or 3 times with Illuminations. I haven't done it with Harmonious, but it is awesome. And I've done it a couple times for out in the Seven Seas Lagoon for the Magic Kingdom, and it's very cool. Let's see here. It's a question about what languages we speak. We speak English. Say that was somebody from Valencia, Spain. So thanks for tuning in from Valencia, Spain. We do speak English. I speak a little Spanish, but not enough to get by. I took 5 years.
My family speaks Spanish, and I love how they just have conversations, and I don't understand what they're saying. It's kind of entertaining sometimes.
Nice.
I swear they're talking about me, Mike, when they do that.
I know, same. I know enough to be like, hey, stop. I know you're talking about me. Chip follows up, says they're definitely doing the margarita tequila tasting, since that's his wife's favorite, and wasn't allowed to do the bourbon. The bourbon usually does not sell out, but the margarita tequila, boom. I mean, it's gone in a blink. So
yeah, I would do both. Not on the same day. I recommend not doing them on the same day. Mike and I have experience with that, and it doesn't end as well as you would think. You get
Yes.
your family doesn't want you at dinner basically because
You're
you're
a
just
superstar. Yeah.
because
Dinner.
you're full of too much energy is what
Yes,
it
you
is.
are. Yeah, just saying. Okay, Matthew's got a question. He says, maybe I'm too late for when you record, but really need to know this. Here we go. For the day of the marathon, do spectators have to have a park reservation? If so, because of the 2 p.m. rule, are they in effect limited to spectating at one park? So, Scott, talk to us about how, because spectators are allowed to, over marathon weekend, allowed to go into the parks to cheer everybody on. But talk to Matt about how this is going to work out for them.
Yeah, so there are a couple spots like because the cool thing about the marathon, it goes through all 4 theme parks. Um, the real ones you're going to be able to cheer at though are like Animal Kingdom, like the parking lot area, or somewhere like in kind of like in the Asia area. So like they can go into Animal Kingdom and cheer you on. But yeah, with the or Epcot would be the my most ideal one, or the studios at near the end of the race. But yeah, so it's still going to work that you need to have that park reservation. So if your spectator is planning on cheering you at Animal Kingdom, they're going to have to be stuck at Animal Kingdom till at least 2 o'clock to park hop somewhere else, and then at that point the marathon's going to be over. So I would recommend that your spectator like choose the spot that they really want to be at, where you want to see them the most, which is usually Epcot. That's what my wife does. She goes in the Epcot, she makes her park reservation there, and then she'll be somewhere around where it'll showcase. I know it's like right near the end, but there's something about seeing that family member that gives you that last boost for that last 3/4 of a mile. So park hopping will be tricky because the race will be over by the time the park hopping goes in, so they have to commit to that one park.
I will say the one hack around that is have your family, if you're running the full marathon on Sunday or even the half marathon on Saturday, your family can watch you at the Magic Kingdom without a theme park reservation because you get in the park there before the park actually opens. They let spectators on Main Street. Now, you got to be there extremely early. I mean,
Do you have to pay for that too? Is that part of like a
I
like
don't
a
think
like
so.
a
I think you
cheer
can
package? I wasn't sure.
no, I
Okay.
think you can just get in. But I mean, you got to be on the buses with the runners. Like it's like you got to be because I mean, think about it. We get there.
You get there later
It's
now though,
early.
because the course has changed.
Isn't it still at like mile? It's not.
I think it's like mile 11 now or something
Oh yeah,
kinda
it
later in
is
the
at the
race.
last. Yeah, because it used to
Yeah.
be like mile 6.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they
that's
changed the
true now.
course where you run through Epcot first now, so
Yeah, scratch that because it used to be early. So I mean, you could have been in there way before the park ever opens. Get in,
but
not
there's parking lot areas, right? I thought that's where you were going. Like you can cheer at the TTC, Animal Kingdom. Like you run through the parking lot there, so I see a lot of spectators in Animal Kingdom Park. So that's another good hack, right? You can cheer at Animal Kingdom's parking lot, and then have your park reservation for the studios or Epcot, and then you can go over to one of those parks and see them again on the course.
I would say that's a good point. The TTC and the parking lots are kind of the hack. It's the easiest place to cheer and it's most appreciated by the runners. I'll be honest. Like there's a swarm of people like on Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset or as we go through World Showcase and we're delusional, we don't even know where we are. Just like, please let me finish. I'm done. But even as we go down Main Street USA or through Fantasyland or what have you, Animal Kingdom, there, you strangers get you through there. But when you have a loved one in a parking lot, like at the Animal Kingdom parking lot, just feels like it's like the size of Texas. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like the parking lot gets bigger every year because I get older every year, or somebody's at the TTC. I still say this, and I think it's fun for the spectators and for the runners. For my money, the TTC is like got the most energy. It reminds me of the World Cup's going on right now. Like it's almost like the mini World Cup section of the marathon course for half and full. Like it's crazy. Like you see people like there's a marching band as you're coming out of it. Like as you kind of get through, you're like, oh, that was awesome. And it's like, it's like, yeah, we're not done. And it's like if you want your family to have a good time cheering, encourage TTC early because that's a good place to go. Then they can bounce maybe over to Animal Kingdom or something. But that's an underrated cheer spot. I love running through
Could
there.
you imagine if the whole race was like that?
It's all, the Chicago Marathon's kind of like
And
that.
you told me that, yeah. Because
Oh,
like you run through that, and then then you kind of like exit out, and then you run towards the contemporary, and then it just kind of like it all dies down. Like all that like great energy is gone,
yeah,
Like that's the bummer when you go through those great spectating
yeah.
sections, and then you're like, oh, where's the drum line at now?
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, funnel down into that skinny place under the water bridge in front of the contemporary. People are almost biting it because it's, kind of dark, and people are trying to pass people on the curb. And you're like, dude, I've done this 100. Don't try to pass on that. Boom, there they go. Like, dude, rookie, like there's a curb there, and it's big every year. Somebody bites it.
I love that water bridge. And I didn't tell you this. So one of the nights on our last trip driving back home, to the contemporary, the water pageant went over us, which was like a really cool like feeling, like you're driving underneath the water pageant. That was a first for us, and I thought that was super cool.
Sean's asking if either one of us are scheduling a quick trip to get on Splash Mountain one last time. We don't have to, because we'll be down there for marathon. It's funny how that's going to work out. We'll get our last rides on about a month from now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about it. It is a good time though to get that last trip in, because you can combine the festival, of the arts, and really you gotta be careful to say that, because we've said it before. Festival of the Arts, farts. 12-year-old Mike, here we go. Alan says, are they still doing New Year's Eve fireworks in Epcot after Harmonious for the 2023 countdown? I would say yes. I'd like a tag. I would say they're going to definitely do a tag. I mean, yeah, they will.
Yeah. I feel bad that I don't know this answer with 100% certainty, because a lot of times I'd be going down there, like especially this year where the marathon is so early, but I'm not this year. But I would say yes, but I don't know for 100% certainty.
Just watch again. Disney doesn't announce this stuff until like you're there. Like it's brutal how late they wait. But I mean, I don't think there's ever been a year that they haven't done a countdown in a park. It would be pitchforks and rioting if, it's midnight, go home. They're Disney. They're gonna have a count.
Because I'm sure they're doing the Magic Kingdom one, because I remember seeing like the California Grill, like the top of the world at New Year's Eve, $600 a person thing is like on sale again. So if they're doing that Magic Kingdom, they would be doing it at Epcot. So
all right, Rhonda Lee, our favorite Canadian, who's always here. We appreciate her so much. Can't wait to see her here shortly. She says, I've told my hubby I don't care if I see him. No, I'm just going to continue there. If I stop there, it's dramatic.
End of statement.
Exactly. No, I've told my husband I don't care if I see him for the first 3 races, but he better be in a World Showcase for the fall with an adult beverage. That's what keeps a marriage going right there. Speaking of which, what is the best adult beverage to celebrate the marathon? I mean, simple, right? It's your favorite. Whatever's your favorite.
Whatever your favorite is,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think Andy, my brother-in-law, when he did it, he finished with a beer. I think he bought Paige a beer, didn't he? 1 year, or he?
I think so. I know I've finished with a beer. Like Moose had a beer for me. It was great. Moose had a beer for me in France, and then I had a margarita waiting for me. And sometimes I do multiple drinks around.
Don't drink around the world at mile 26. You're so dehydrated, you are drunk as a skunk in like 10 seconds.
I've needed it the year with like where I was on a broken leg or whatever. Like one of our friends had like a shot at Why Roll the Sports that helped a little bit.
Oh, I forgot about
the year where I had 2 drinks because I just needed something to numb it.
That was Deb, right? Deb Stevens.
I can't remember. But yeah,
it was awesome, man. She had the whole setup over there. Oh man.
Yeah. Deb was always there. I don't think she had the shot. I think that was like one of Melissa's friends or something.
Oh, okay, yeah, but she had like the whole table and the.
Deb,
it was like
she's the greatest spectator of all time.
100%.
Her and the Lawrences. Like, I don't want to leave anyone out. That's why I hate when I start doing like name drops. But like, they're all great.
Yeah, she had a buffet like at mile 18, and it was very much pretty. I mean, Coke Zeros. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was. God bless her. Oh man. Sean says get the Welsh Dragon in the UK. We don't go past we do.
You kind of go out of your way. Like, I don't know if you might have to go off course a little bit and backwards. I don't know. I hope
I get to ride Rock and Roller Coaster this year, because last year I could not get on it. I tried
talking about riding rides. Like, I'm just all about like, I just hope I stand up straight and finish.
The best was I did ride Rock and Roller Coaster a couple of years ago, and it was awesome because I rode next to some, because I got on the single rider. I got in within about 10 minutes, and everybody around me was like, why are you so sweaty? Why do you stink so bad? And I'm like, I'm running the race. Like, you see my bib? And it was just, they all got in, and it was awesome. Like, that picture was great. But yeah, I tried last year, and that cast member was not having it. I'm like, come on, let me just get in. I'm just going to get in the single. No. No, what I wanted was I want to get in the fast pass. It was back when they had fast pass. I need to get in the GD plus the fast pass lane. Like, no, you're not getting in. I'm like, come on, I'm running the race. I just want to get. No, was like, please, no. I was like, fine. And I just took off running. Anyway, they're just doing their job.
Just make
All
a
right,
Genie Plus for that day, for that time.
I could. All right, last question of the day comes from Olivia. I think we met Olivia actually at ABC Commissary.
Oh, we were just talking about the sandwich, Mike.
I know.
Yes,
We were just
I
talking
remember
about this.
that.
Here's a question for I think this is Olivia that we met.
We met her like in the summer of 2021. I
over in
remember that.
Buffalo.
It was after we golfed.
Yeah. We were speaking of stinky, because we totally probably were. Hey, Mike, it's Olivia from North Carolina writing with a listener question. My husband and I are doing Disney and Universal on our honeymoon coming up in January. Maybe it's not the same Olivia. I don't know. It was Olivia.
There's a lot of
I think
Olivia.
she was married. We haven't been to the park since February 2020, and after this trip, likely won't return for a couple of years. We're not pool people or drinking people, so we are focusing on spending time in the parks and eating some good food while we're down there. This trip is already a splurge, 10 nights at Pop Century, and we already have some splurge reservations like Be Our Guest Dinner and the Space 220 Lounge. But when doing my dining reservation day came around, I panicked and booked a Cinderella's Royal Table. Our last trip, my husband first and I discovered that even though he doesn't like princesses, he thought the castle was really cool and loved our Be Our Guest pre-park opening breakfast back when that was a thing. We also found character meet and greets super awkward as a non-Disney adult, and I know the princesses aren't in Cinderella's Royal Table right now. Should I keep the breakfast reservation as long as the princesses won't come back? I thought it would be a cool surprise to tell him we're having breakfast in the castle. It sounds so dreamy for our first morning in the Magic Kingdom, but $110 for breakfast when we're already splurging so much? Yikes, I need help. Should I splurge? Thanks for everything you do. Life has thrown some crazy curveballs over the last couple of years, but one comforting constant in my life that I can always listen to Mike and the crew on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Well, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks, Olivia. So good question, because I will tell you what, it is amazing inside of Cinderella's Royal Table. The architecture in there and like looking out the stained glass windows into Fantasyland, and the experience of Cinderella's Royal Table is remarkable, but I have not been there for years and years, and it's because of the cost. It is expensive. It is a splurge with, I mean, like all caps, like caps lock. So Scott, you're more of a splurger than I. I would say you're worried about it. I would say no, because he doesn't know about it, so he doesn't know he's missing it right now. It's a surprise. But what do you say?
This is such a tough one, because I'm with you, Mike. Like, I've actually had a Royal Table reservation booked recently and canceled it because of the cost. And I was like, I don't know if it's worth it. And I haven't been there, my goodness, in like 8 or 7 years. And like, I really want to get back in there, but it was like the cost that did me. But I'm going to recommend it because listen to this. Like, it's their honeymoon. Like, how awesome is that? Like, your honeymoon, your newlyweds, you're going to go have breakfast in the castle. And I think she said it was part of the early, it was like before park opening. Is that right? As I mentioned, I heard it mention about Be Our Guest was previously for them. But if you can get in there early to park, you know, you get those like castle photos with like not that many people around you. It's your honeymoon. Like, I don't know. That just seems like a recipe that's just made for, I mean, not made for disaster, but it's just beautiful, right? Like honeymoon, Cinderella's castle, like you got to do it. I'm sorry. It's easy to spend other people's money, but I say you got to do it though.
Yeah, you know what? You won me over because it's, you know, your honeymoon is a special,
it's romantic,
right? Yeah, right. I mean, it's like you're going down to run a stupid marathon. That's not a great. You're already spending much money to run all these races, but you're going out for your honeymoon. It's special, and that is, I mean, it is super romantic in there, and you have a great breakfast. Just throw coffee. The good news is too, it's a prepaid meal, so you pay for it up front. You're not even going to be paying for it that day. And
make that like a wedding present. Like put that on your registry or something. Cinderella's Royal Table. Like get a gift card.
Yeah, get a gift card. You know, Dennis down in Texas, he's a huge Disney fan. Says I'd do it. How often do you get to eat in a castle? Right. I mean, you've already done one of the castles. Be Our Guest. So there you go. You gotta be a completionist. Well, great questions today, and thank you, Scott, for helping answer those. We had a good time today talking. I love it because we got to do some cruise, some Walt Disney World, and just got all over the place.
It was a fun episode as always. Happy to be here.
All right, we'll be back on Friday. I think we're going to talk shortcuts. We're going to talk about saving time and steps on your next Disney trip, whether it's Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or Disney Cruise Line. How to save time and some time on your feet. because we're going to talk physical shortcuts around the property and also how to, knock a couple minutes off here and there during your trip if you're trying to shave things down to be more efficient on your, because we're not always efficient, but sometimes you got to be because you want to get somewhere. So we'll talk about that on Friday. Ricky will join us. We'll have a good old time with it. She'll be on a brand new laptop, which means nothing to you guys, but it means a lot to me. So we'll see how that goes. I'm excited. Anyway, today's show always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out for all your Disney trip planning needs. Here's all you need to do. Swing by the website, themagicforless.com. Fill out the quote form while you're there. It's super simple. You just select your destination, Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney. Put in as much information as you have. And then where it says, where'd you hear about us? Just put the BOGP. It'll come right to me, and we'll be planning that trip together. It'll be a lot of fun. I'd appreciate it so much. And we'll take great care of you from there. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, while you shop this holiday season, make it easy on yourself and support the show at the same time. Use Amazon. Just click through our link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That really does help us out. And a huge shout out to our patrons, many who are in our chat room right now. We appreciate you so very much. You can support the show over there once a month over on Patreon at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. And you'll get that bonus show that's called Mike in the Midwest, full of wacky stories of growing up here in Missouri. All right, give Scott a follow on social media. He's at Instagram and Twitter at Epscott, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike and would love to talk to you this week on the social media as well. And of course, Scott and I will be back this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, where we turn the show over to you. We open up the phone lines. We take your calls. We talk about Run Disney. We talk about Walt Disney World trip planning. We talk about Disneyland. We cruise. We talk about all current topics. It's a really fun time. Lots of great calls last Sunday, and we'll do it again this Sunday. Join us, Facebook and YouTube, Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll be waiting for your call. All right, we're going to get out of here, and we'll join you again on Friday. So until we get back together again, for Scott, I'm Mike. Wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay out of the transfer portal. And we'll see you real soon. All right, save that one and text Ricky.
Dang, we're getting a lot of mini golf cancellations.
Why's that?
Because the time. Because like we planned for 12:30, but Disney can only do like starting at 10:30.
I'd rather do it early anyway.
I would prefer early too, but sounds like there's a lot of breakfast ADRs out there.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Oh, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the message. Someone said, "Are you on? Is your on-air light on?"
Well, so it is not, because watch. I'll show you what happens. Hey, give me a soda too real quick. Hang on, let me text Ricky. It like washes out. It's so strong.
Oh, gotcha.
So disappointed. Maybe when it's dark it won't do it. Let me check. But like when I first got it, I was like so excited. I turned it on. I was like, you can't even read it. And I was like, oh. I was like, but it looks cool when it's off.
It still looks good, yeah.
I'm gonna switch this.
Oh yeah.
See, like you can't
even see it. Yeah, I'd rather have it off and be able to read it.
I know it looks awesome in here though, like without being on camera, it looks great. Boo. This is a mini speaker.
Oh, your Guardian? Yeah, you haven't even seen the movie.
I don't want to see it.
Oh, you kill me. You kill me with that.
Yeah, I can finally do something with all those tchotchkes. I'm going to turn around those ears because those are the ones you gave me the same mic. But
okay, nice.
I mean, I couldn't decide whether to make it so it says mic or it has like the. I
know it's a tough call. People at work normally have it so that their name is pointing out, which makes sense. I get it for them as like a name tag kind of. Yeah. So
I'm gonna flip it. I was gonna wait till after Christmas probably because I like at Christmas I'm gonna read after Christmas. I'm gonna read. I asked for a lava lamp for Christmas to put in the background. I thought it'd be kind of
lava lamp.
Because that was something to be moving. That'd be kind of neat looking. Look at this. Look at this screensaver. Look at that.
That's it.
I love that rotating picture thing. That was a good show.
Yeah, it was.
Questions. I know Dennis loved the cruise talk because he's always a cruising. We just made he's going on the Wonder over spring break to San Diego. Oh man, I kind of got to go to the bathroom, but I think I can make it through the show. Famous last words. I love having a TV in here. I love having an office. I have never had an office in my life. Like, I think that's every teacher's dream is to have an office. I've come to that conclusion. Like, every teacher wants an office because you don't have one. Because you always have to be in there with all the kids.
Yeah. No, like, so we have an office here. Like, this is just our guest room, but it's because there's hardwood floor and, like, you know, I feel like it has this echo when I record with you. You know, you like the audio, so I don't want to have that.
No, yeah, this sounds. I went back and listened to the Sunday night, the show from last night today for like a little bit, and it sounded really good. It sounded like you almost sounded like we were in the same room.
Nice.
We had the same levels, so it was good. Now, when Pate, so my nephew's getting married this Saturday, and so Paige is coming home for the wedding. This will be the first time she sees that her bedroom is now this. I mean, she took her bed and everything, her dresser and everything with her in Chicago. So, but she's like, what? Because it is
that's funny
bedroom anymore.
Yeah,
it's way better.
So, what day? The wedding is what day?
Saturday.
That'll be the 10th.
It's out in the middle of the country.
Yeah, Liz and I, our anniversary is the 11th, so they're close to our anniversary.
Yep. How many years?
13.
Dang, 13.
Yep, we have a 15-year-old, and we're married for 13. I said this to Elizabeth last night. I was like, "Oh, this will be our real test. You know, if we can survive year 13, I think we're good." And she's like, "What do you mean?
It's supposed to be 7. It's like that 7.
That's what she said. It's 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
never like that movie either, but I know it's a movie.
No, that's what she said. That's year 7. You've already passed that.
Oh crap!
I just thought, you know, unlucky 13. You know,
that's true.
Because 7 feels weird because the 7's a lucky number. You know.
That's true. That's true.
Weird. Let's just record like our thoughts on stuff. This is like Mike and Scott's thoughts.
This is hanging out here. With
Someone in the chat, just give us a topic.
Yeah. Took me 2 girls to the park once to see the castle, then cruise from there on. Love DCL. Yeah, Andrew, I'm with you, man. DCL. That's the whole thing is like once I'm on this ship, like I'm like, I don't need to go to the parks ever again because it's just so easy.
I love it. And you know how much I love San Diego. So James Rothstein was out there yesterday, and like it must have been the Wonder was there. He took a photo of like the ship in San Diego. I was like, oh my god, I would just love to be there right now.
You could throw on your Padres hat and jump on the Wonder.
Yeah.
You and Machado. You and Manny going cruising.
Oh man. Trying to figure out how I get back to California next year. Even if it's not Disneyland, maybe do like 2 days at Disneyland, but do some other stuff. You know,
I want to go to Disneyland so hard. I loved it.
The holidays, man, are so good. Ugh.
George sent me some. Hey, what's up? George sent me loops from Disneyland.
Oh, really?
DCA,
oh man,
Circle Christmas.
Okay.
And Toontown Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. You never even saw Toontown.
I didn't. Yeah.
So cool. I guess we got to go back next year when Runaway Railway.
You got to go back and see Toontown, right?
I do.
Dude, that was like one of the parts you ran through for the races. You would run through Toontown.
I do. Oh, Coach Drinkwitz speaks. I have him on.
What's your topic, Mike?
I mean, we could do shortcuts, but we don't have to.
Oh, it's fine. I was just kind of being funny earlier. Like,
no, I don't care. We can do something else.
All my shortcuts are probably against the rules.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What else can we do? Let's see. So it's the beginning of December.
I can make it work. I got some ideas if you want to do it. I was just trying to be funny with you.
Trying to think. Dude, Trace Turner got 11 years, 300 million. That's crazy. I thought the Cardinals were going to sign him. Phillies. That's fine. Anyway, I got to get this TV out of here. So, are we good with that? Ricky, you good with that? You got some shortcuts? Some ways to save time and steps?
I can come up with something. Yeah.
Okay, you sure you're on your other mic? Just double check real quick.
Yes, but I'll log out and log back in because that's the only way I know how to do it. So be right back.
Yep. Verlander to the Mets, man. 2 years, 86.
No, Verlander's going to the Mets?
Oh, yeah, he signed today.
No.
They have Verlander and Scherzer.
No, he was supposed to come back to Detroit.
No,
Like,
dude,
he
he
was
got
supposed to
86 million for 2 years.
He was supposed to come back and wrap up his career in Detroit, mentor some of the younger guys. That was like how I envisioned this whole thing.
You wanted him to promote you guys. I know.
Now he's going to be with Scherzer again.
Yeah,
like, that's just like trolling the Tigers.
It is.
The Scherzer and Verlander.
Million for 2 years. That is insane.
Hi. Better?
I think so.
Yeah, because
You'll get a Taco Bell.
He was supposed to come back to Detroit.
I'm pretty sure there's a short in this microphone now.
Why is that? You can't drop them. They're very flat.
No. I think there's a short in the cord. Which
I dropped the mic during a podcast with you, Mike.
Yes, right.
No, like don't do that because mics are very, very sensitive. Like,
but remember, I did that though.
I know. It's like you went down. I know.
I was just having. That was the day my internet didn't work. It was just. It was one that I think I texted you like, man, I felt like I went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts and 2 errors.
Where is? I think I lost it. Yeah.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
It's still there. Okay.
Oh my God, is that what you were doing all that time?
Yeah, I was worried.
Right?
I was worried I lost that button.
You know, you get upset that Ricky is like running a little late, and then
Exactly,
and
and
18
that-
minutes.
You could have totally waited
Find the
for me.
button.
And then you're searching for buttons for 20
Okay,
freaking
let's
minutes.
go. Okay, here we go.
It's so weird it being in between the two of you.
Let's do this. So we're at 22:04 shorty cutties.
Okay.
Ooh, we had a listener question from Norway. We should have done that one. Dang it. That's been cool. Anyway.
That was your fault.
I thought it was hello. It says hello from Norway, but I was thinking somebody was writing in from like the country, but it was actually somebody like from Epcot. It was actually somebody writing in from
Norway.
Norway. Anyway. All right. Hit levels. There we go. Okay. 2204. Welcome to episode 2204 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you, and hope you had a great week and you're settling in for an awesome weekend. Shout out to my nephew, Jared, who's having a big wedding this weekend out in the country. So we'll be out in the country. I'm sure there'll be lots of cowboy boots and cowboy hats. I might have to bust mine out for the wedding tomorrow, which is pretty exciting because I have not worn that thing very often. You know, I bought it way back here. And for folks that are from my area, I got it at a place called A Little Bit of Texas, which was a big country line dancing place in Earth City, Missouri. It is now a huge mega church at this point, but Mike Rallman used to line dance a lot back in the late 90s, early 90s, whenever that was popular. Boot scooting, whenever Brooks and Dunn were hot. That's we did that. We speed skated and we country line danced after practice every night. So those were the days. But I get to bust that out this weekend, and I doubt there'll be any pictures, but you never know. So follow me on social media at BRGuestMike. But anyway, we are here to talk Disney. We're going to save you some time and save you some steps, which might be important for those people that might be running 48.6 miles here in about 3-4 weeks. Whatever, it's less than a month. It's tick, tick, tick. It's getting close. So today, we're going to have some fun Disney talk. So joining me from themouseforless.com, as I said on Wednesday, from a spanking new computer, which I appreciate so very much. We have Ricky. Ricky, happy Friday. What's going on?
Happy Friday. And for those who don't know, who are maybe new to the podcast, I actually met my husband at a country line dance floor. So that's legitimately the way I met him. He ran into me on the dance floor. No joke. That's actually how I met my husband. So
Tell me it was Cactus Moon.
no, it was Wild Country.
Yeah, my dad used to work there. Yeah, over in Collinsville, Illinois. Yeah, wild
Also
country.
gone, by the way. But yes, that is exactly how I met my husband, was country line dancing. So
Wow.
yeah.
What was, because you had to memorize all the moves back then. That was the big thing. Like because I
Yeah.
was a DJ back then, right? So you bust out like Trouble by Travis Tritt or something, and like there was a specific dance you had to do to that song, or like Chattahoochee had its dance. I mean, you had to like it was like a master's degree course. Like you had to know the moves for every song. It was crazy time.
Hey, that's part of the reason why I met Brian, because he didn't know the dance. Like he should have known them because he went to the bar all the time, but he didn't know them. So that's how come I met him, because I ran into him while I was doing the moves correctly and he was doing them incorrectly. But you know, over at Wild Country, like there was like a select like number of dances that they usually did, and then there were a few that were special. Like you knew when the song came on, you knew that dance. Some of them intimidated me, so I didn't try those. But eventually, I did get most of them. So I couldn't do them now if I tried, probably because I forgot at this point.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part, like I had almost all the dances down at one point. So
best part about Wild Country, and we're gonna move on, but it was on TV on Sunday or Saturday.
It was
Channel 4. And there was actually, because my dad was a radio DJ back then, there was an American Idol ripoff show that was on Channel 4.
Yes, there was.
It was filmed at one of the casinos here in St. Louis.
Yes, there was.
And my dad was a judge on that show because he was an on-air radio DJ, and it was the funniest thing. So like I would get in from like, whatever we did on Saturday nights. I'd flip that on because it was on like at midnight.
Yes.
And my dad would be ripping on people. And I'm like,
I do vaguely remember that actually. Just very briefly, yes. Yeah.
Totally forgot about that. Yeah, my dad would be like, You're pitchy. I'm like, you don't even know what that means. Like, why?
No.
Simon says that. I'm like, well, okay, cool, because you're giving the dude a 2. I'm like, but you're mean. I'm like, but the guy was drunk. I'm like, so who cares?
Oh, well, then there you go.
That was pretty fun. Okay, Scotty G's joining us from up in the mitten. Scott, what's going on? So we're all the St. Louis stuff here. We're talking 90s St. Louis, man. You missed out being here. You should have been here.
Mike, I think we're lucky that we met when we did.
Yeah, I don't think you and Mike would be friends.
Our friendship would not have survived if we met in the mid-90s with all the line dancing and cowboy boots and all that. But you know what? Who knows? Maybe we would have. But yeah, that is 100% not my scene. But, I'm glad it works for other people. But happy to be here on a Friday. Congratulations to the bride and groom this weekend. I hope you enjoy the wedding. It's actually my wedding anniversary with my wife, so this is a good time of year to get married, apparently. So best of luck to them.
Sunday. Happy anniversary.
I know, I just thought about that live show on the anniversary. I'm sure that won't be a problem.
Yeah, I know. Let's make it quick. All right, so we'll see what's going on with that. I might have to fly solo, but we'll figure that, as always, we'll figure that out when the time comes, which is 48 hours from now. All right, so today, again, Ricky, Scott and I on Wednesday committed that we are not in the transfer portal for college football. We're staying with the show. Are you committed to the show as well? I don't know if you follow college football, but this is a season where people can change schools. We need a commitment from you. You're not changing podcasts on us.
This is a tough decision to make. I could go on to one of the other podcasts, but I think I'm going to stay.
Good. Okay, so yeah, one more season. All right, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so today what we're going to talk about are shortcuts, like ways to shave off. Say you want to save 5 minutes, 10 minutes here, maybe 15 minutes there, or more importantly, just to save a few steps on your feet, because I mean, even if you're going in June and you're not down for a race, Walt Disney World's exhausting. And same thing for Disneyland. Sometimes you get tired and you don't want to take extra steps, or cruise line. There's times where you can save steps on the ship. Because I don't know if you've ever been, you say, and I've said this to many people, I love cruising because the ships are only so big. But you know what? The dream and the fantasy are only so big. They're pretty big. I mean, have you ever gone down deck 7? Like, just, you can't see the end of it. Like, you're just going and going and going. And then with the new Global Dream, I mean, dude, that ship, they could run a 10K on that sucker. I'm convinced. Like, Run Disney's next course will be around that boat, because that's at least a 10K on the perimeter of that thing. That thing's a behemoth. Anyway, we're going to talk about saving time, saving steps on today's show, trying to be practical, but also kind of having a fun Disney conversation. So, Ricky, when I sent this out as a text, what's the first thing that came to your mind as far as either saving time or saving a little time on your feet?
Well, I think the biggest thing I'm gonna start off with, and it kind of seems like a no brainer in that regard, but I'm going to kind of throw in a few tips with it as well. The first thing, of course, is I'm going to suggest to make sure you mobile order your food. And the reason why like I said, that part seems no brainer. You know, of course, saving time, mobile order would definitely save time. But it's kind of a multi-pronged reason why I say that. The first thing is that you can start to look at your actual order and get it put in ahead of time. So in the morning, if you want to, put in your order, you're going to be in this park, you really know you want to have this place as a restaurant that you want to go to, you can go ahead and put in your mobile order like earlier in the day, and then you can actually schedule a time for it to be picked up. So that can be so if hey, I want to eat about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can do it at 9 o'clock in the morning and then schedule it for that 1 o'clock time. Now, also it can be helpful if you are like standing in line and it is a long line and you finally realize, oh, okay, we're starting to get hungry. You can put that mobile order in for, the next half hour or so. Again, that way your mobile order will be ready or you are ready to, get off the attraction, you're ready to eat. I think so many people think, oh, I can only do mobile order like right as I'm about to dine. And that's not necessarily the case. Especially for some restaurants. Like I know when we were just there, Woody's Lunchbox, if you wanted to eat there was a wait to actually eat there. So like it had at least a 30-minute delay. And actually it was a little bit longer at some points of the day, because it's so popular and got hit so hard. So again, if it's a place that you really want to eat, make sure you put that mobile order in ahead of time. The other thing is that there are not a lot of, Disney has brought back in most places the ability to do an order at the counter. But that line is usually really, really, really long because not a lot of people want to, do mobile order for one reason or another. So the people will stand in line, and we went straight. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. We ate at Pizza Rizzo the last time we were there, and I which I know a lot of people hate. Brian,
you could go up there and line dance, and
Brian, yeah, that's true. There was lots of dancing going on in that wedding reception room.
Brooks and Dunn should like do a concert up there, man.
Yeah, exactly. But there was when we were getting in line, we were getting there for our food. They said the line for the, actually like putting in your order was 15 minutes at least just to put in your order. So, make sure that way you can actually make sure you do that ahead of time. And then the other tip I'm going to say is don't wait until you're like right in front of the restaurant to say I'm here. Cause
that's the ultimate cheat, dude. You play the gambling game. Like I'm here. Like, no, I'm actually on the other side of the park. But,
right. But your food's going to be waiting, could potentially be waiting for you, but the most part, probably not. So you definitely want to put that in like as you're walking to the restaurant or something like that. Do not just wait until you're standing in front of the restaurant, and because there is a delay. Your food will not be just bam ready for you as soon as you get to, as soon as you press mobile order, I'm here. It's not going to be like, and your food's done, ta-da. So those are a few like mobile ordering like tips, suggestions to help you save time, because not only can mobile ordering help you save time, and here's another tip. You can mobile order for a few snack places. So you can mobile order for the Caramel Couche in Germany and at Epcot. And I know you can also do a mobile order for the confectionery on Main Street USA too. So, that's always handy too, because at the end of the night, when you're like tired and, you want a snack on your way out, but you don't want to stand in the long line, and just mobile order that ahead of time. And as you're walking out, you can go ahead and grab your snack.
I gotta say, the best use of mobile order in the history of mobile order uses ever is Gibson Girl, Main Street USA, Disneyland. You can mobile order your ice cream for the end of the night, like to watch the parade. Like we were watching Main Street Electrical Parade, with mobile ordering our ice cream cones. I mean, I was like, is this real? Because like ice cream melts, but of course, not push you here. Then this is when they make it. Oh, I mean, that's why Disneyland was amazing. Like right there, like I was like, dude, I'm never leaving. Like this is perfect. Like
you could mobile order the corn dogs at the Little Red Wagon. So yeah.
Anyway, and also real quick, shout out to Keith. He's the one who made our logo years and years and years and years ago that we've been using forever. Haven't seen him in quite a while, so hope he's having a great holiday season. So glad to see Keith here on Facebook, tuned in live. Just great to see him here. Okay, I'm going to jump in with mine real quick because mine's very similar to yours, and this is one that I've always been weird about, but I've used it like 3 times at this point. And every time I use it, it's how I felt with mobile order when it very first came out. Because when mobile order first came out, I was like, because nobody was using it. And I'm like, look at all those suckers. Everybody's standing in line doing it the old fashioned way. And I'm getting my food. Like nobody's doing this. And it's that thing where if you go into like creations, like any kind of store, like the Emporium, and you have that sign up for where you can use the app.
Oh my gosh.
And just
Yes.
do the mobile checkout. Dude, it's like legal shoplifting.
Yes, it is.
Because you feel like I totally feel like I'm shoplifting or something, but I'm paying for it because you might think, oh man, it's too hard. It is not hard.
Nope.
What you do is you open up the My Disney Experience app. You click it. There's only certain locations where it works, but if you're in a location where it sees that you're there, it gives you that option. You pick the thing and you just click on it. And with your phone or your camera, you just scan the code on the price tag or whatever.
Yep.
And it comes up and you pay for it, and it goes right on your credit card. And then you take that and show that to the person by the exit. There's a sign that says, here's the person that'll confirm that you actually paid for your merchandise, and you're out of there. Dude,
it's amazing.
Oh my God. When it's busy, like the creation shop or something, it's so, because Mallory wanted, I forgot when we were down there, she wanted like one of those weighted like pillow pets or whatever they are, like it was, I forgot what it was. It was some animal from one of the movies. And but it was one of those real heavy ones. I mean, the thing weighed like a bowling ball. It was, and I don't know, we carried it around for like, the rest of the day. It was stupid. I don't know why we got the stupid thing to carry around she loves it, but I mean, we bought it early in the day. We had to carry around this like 19-pound plush. It was so, but we bought it with that mobile order thing, or that, purchase with the app. And I was like, because there were like long lines at every register. And this is great. Because so I'll just tell you, Target, ever since COVID, I never go in Target anymore. Like I just go on the app, buy my stuff, cruise up, push the button, they bring it out and throw it in my trunk. Like that's the greatest thing. And that's what it is at Walt Disney World. You get around you don't have awkward interactions. You just like, hey, here, I bought it. Here it is. Clear bag. You're out of there. It's awesome. Do that. It saves you tons of time, especially closing.
And Lisa's asking if you get the Visa card discount, and I know I get an annual pass holder one. I don't know if I've gotten the Visa one though. So,
dude, I don't even care. Like,
sure.
I'll give up 20%.
Yeah, at that point you don't hear
I don't know. I like my discounts, but man, if I don't have to stand in that line, charge me 10% extra. I do not care.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scott, you've been waiting patiently. Give us a shortcut for your hacks here.
Well, Ricky took mine, but I figured someone was gonna have that mobile.
Sorry,
one.
my
So
bad.
That was a good one. I'll just stick with the trend of using like your mobile device. And this one's kind of simple, but like it can save time, but it can also cost you time too. So discretion advised here. I like doing the online check-in for my resort when I'm staying on site. Because that could save you some time where you don't have to go to the lobby and wait in a line and then ask a million questions to wait for your room. We're all about, efficiency and saving time on a Walt Disney World vacation. So ahead of time, do as much as you can at home. And I always recommend doing that online check-in either from your phone or from your laptop or your desktop. And then just say like, yeah, I'm going to be here at 10 a.m. or whatever the time might be. I know a lot of us say we're going to be there a few hours earlier than we're really going to be there.
I don't see a problem with that, right? Because I mean, you want your room to be ready, and
yeah,
I mean, I do the same.
Yeah, I want my room to be ready like when I land so that I can go straight to my room, drop off my luggage and all that. But it does save you some time. Now, the reverse of this, though, like say, you're going to Coronado, you do your online check-in, you get the text, boom, you roll up to the room, you're in the Ranchos, and then it doesn't work for whatever reason. You got a Magic Band issue, the technology doesn't work. Then you got to go back to the main lobby. That's where it can cost you time and steps too. So be aware that it may cost you depending on how the technology is working.
That's
but
true.
I say 8 out of 10 times. I know that's a horrible number. Maybe 7 out of 10 times it does work.
And here's what's that, like the rule of Riley or something? Like when I was down there for Wine and Dine a couple years ago, it was pouring down rain. My room was far away at Pop Century. And of course, my Magic Band didn't work to open the door. Nothing worked. The app didn't work. The little pixie dust thing, you hold up your phone. Nope, didn't work. Nothing. And so I went home.
It happens sometimes. but how it should be set up to work, it should save you time and steps. But then the thing is, like, then you don't get that, like, a lot of I don't know what you guys think about it, like, because I do kind of miss going to the lobby
I
when you
know.
start your trip,
Yeah, I
being
get it.
greeted by a cast member. I kind of miss that a little bit. But if you're all about efficiency and just getting your bags dropped in your room and going to the pool or whatever it is, saving some time, that can save you time. But I do miss going into the lobby and getting that greeting. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's go 5 minutes on that because I do. That's a great point because one of the most exciting times of my trips when I first started going to Walt Disney World, staying at like sports, or if we splurged and we stayed at Pop, or I remember one time we splurged and stayed at Caribbean Beach. I was like, oh my gosh, we're living the rich life. We're staying at a moderate, But it was exactly that. It was that first interaction at check-in. And it wasn't even just the interaction with the cast member, like when they're like, you're giving them your credit card and they're kind of telling, and you're anxiously awaiting, like, okay, are we going to be in Aruba? Are we going to be in Jamaica? Are we going to be in the 50s? We're going to be in the 70s. Like, that's an exciting time. It's almost like the wheel is spinning, like, and you're
going to get upgraded.
Yeah, where's it
Yeah.
gonna start, right? I mean, it's in like you see the hustle and bustle of people coming and going. You hear the background loop playing, but it's not only the interaction with the cast member at check-in there, but it's also like you're walking, you get to see the store, you get to see the food court, you get to hear the background loop. You do miss
You
that.
see
like,
other happy guests. Sometimes you might see a
Yeah.
disgruntled guest or two,
Not
but
usually.
you see nowadays maybe, but you see like happy guests that are starting their vacation too, right? It's just like this vibe of the atmosphere is just like, man, vacation is kicking off. This is awesome.
Right.
And now you just go straight to your room and like,
yeah,
it's
you
not
kind
the
of do
same.
miss that. You do save steps, but if you are just like getting dropped off from your Uber and you never walk through the main building, like say you get dropped off at Pop Century and you walk, directly to the 90s or the 80s, you're kind of missing the vibe. I mean, Ricky, do you agree?
How
with
about
us?
the map? How about the map? I love getting the map when they circle where your room is. Like, oh.
And I never like let on that I know where I'm going because I love them to describe it. It's just kind of fun for me to hear the whole deal. I mean, I know where I'm going, but
well,
what
yeah.
about you?
No, I agree. I do miss a lot of times the, interaction of the check-in. Like that there is something about that. And I don't know what it is, but it's something that, makes you feel like your vacation is starting. I don't know. So and to go back to that, another little hack that I have is speaking of like the map and everything like that. If you do happen to go get a map, which you can always, I guess, still do, you can always go down to the front desk and get a map. Take a look at the pathways to see what is actually the quickest way to get to your room. Because most of the time they try to tell you the quickest way, but sometimes there's like little cut throughs and stuff like that you may find while you're, on your vacation, and you may realize is happening at like, day 5 or 6 after you've been there for a while. But the cut throughs can be a huge help. And actually, sometimes a cut through maybe in a parking lot, through a parking lot. Yeah. So
totally.
I've totally like cut through the parking lot at Pop Century when I'm staying at the 80s or something like that, and the main hall is just like I could go through all the way through the entire maze of the resort, or I could just cut the parking lot and go that way. So
or the maze of your building. How many times have you like like all right, I'm in Jamaica building 7 or whatever, and then you read the sign that says rooms 25, 22 to this way, and you end up doing a full lap and a half somehow. Sometimes you go like twice through, like trying to find that room, and then you get your bags in there, then you leave, and then you realize like, okay, it's right here, and then boom, it's like you nail it the rest of the trip.
Right,
exactly. That first time finding the room is a disaster.
But you don't figure that out till like day 4, right? Like, oh my God, like it's 50 feet from the pool, and I've been going a quarter of a mile around the perimeter of this building, and I didn't even think about it.
It's always at the values in those outer rooms. Like, and I honestly, like, I love it. It's a little game. Like with my family, like when we stay at one of those resorts, we're like, all right, how many laps around the building is it going to take us to find this? And sometimes it'll be like building 8 is like at Pop. It's so confusing me because like 0 is like in the 70s or something. And then like, that makes no sense. Like, why isn't building 6 in the 60s? Like, oh man,
right?
It's fun.
Yeah, somebody.
I know this isn't the topic, but I know we went out.
It is saving you time to figure out the fastest way to get to your resort room. So yeah.
And Rhonda Lee has that on steroids. She mentioned this previously, but if you're staying at the All Stars, get familiar with where your room is in relation to the different resorts, like music. Look at sports and movies. or whatever you are, because sometimes if you're at one of the resorts, you could, if you're in like a far out building for say sports, you could actually be closer to maybe a bus stop at Music or even to the food
That's
court
true.
at Music, because it's actually a gigantic 3-resort campus or pool.
Same thing like at Pop Century too, or Art of Animation. You might be really actually pretty close to their food court on the other side, or vice versa, or I mean, just pay attention to that too. So
Great point. Okay, I'm going to give the real, Captain Obvious right here. And anytime I think of Captain Obvious, I think of Mike Bankhead on one of the cruises where he did the tasting, where he was standing in the corner like Captain Morgan. That's still one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. The captain is the captain. Every time I hear the word captain, I also think of is Mike Bankhead and just standing there. The funniest thing I ever saw in my life. One of the top 3 for sure. Anyway, Captain Obvious answer for today is when you're in the Magic Kingdom, use those cut throughs, like from Frontierland to Adventureland. Like, I mean, and so many times I'll go around and just totally blow past those things, and they save you a ton of walking. The one also from kind of, I'm talking about the stinky one there by the treehouse, but also the one that's by the Dole Whip stand, that pops you out right there by the shooting arcade. Those things are, I mean, it's so obvious because they are literally cut throughs, but they will save you from going all the way around back by Splash Mountain and the Fry Cart and Pecos Bills. And I mean,
and there are ones that that are near the Cinderella Castle that you can cut through to get to different spots as well, that I think a lot of people bypass because they just kind of go with the crowd and go the main way. So there's a lot of like cut throughs that way too. If you want to get into Tomorrowland a different way and not follow the crowd, there's a cut through back there, or whatever. So those cut throughs can be really advantageous for sure.
You see, I only went to Disneyland for the first time this year, but Scott, are there a lot of good cut throughs at Disneyland that are kind of the equivalent of those breezeways and stuff like that at Disneyland, where you can really shave some time at either DCA or Disneyland?
Yep, you absolutely can do that. I feel like you can do that on Cruise Line a little bit too. Like once you know the ship, like cutting through, like going on like deck 4, because sometimes you'll hit a dead end if you're like in the inner like parts of the ship. If you go outside the decks, like then you can actually like there is no dead end now, so I can make my way across this way. So, but yeah, you see that at Disneyland as well.
Yep, cool stuff. All right, Ricky, give us what else you have for either saving time or steps. We've saved a lot of steps so far.
Yeah, this one's a big one potentially, and it's something that I think a lot of people don't think about. So you're walking through World Showcase, right? And you get to about the halfway point, and then you're like, I'm done, or oh no, it's time for me to go somewhere else on the opposite side of the park, and now I have to walk all the way back around the rest of that loop. No,
like the time I had to get a bib for Brian. Yes,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. You do not have to do that. They actually have some friendship boats that will take you from one side to the other. So if you don't want to walk all the way around to get to the America Adventure Pavilion, you can go from the World Showplace little. There's 2 boat docks there, and you can take the boat over to the opposite side or vice versa, and it makes life so much easier. Let me tell you. So that's a huge cut through. That now, granted, you do sometimes have to wait for the boat for a little while. But still, if your feet are just killing you or whatever, wait for the boat, I promise. Also, keep in mind, they don't run them all night because obviously they're getting ready for Harmonious. So, they do have a cutoff at some point. But hey, let me tell you, I have used those on many occasions, and they have saved me so much time and effort. So definitely take the boats. It will save you, I promise.
Disney confession, I don't think I've ever ridden those boats.
Really?
No, because they're so slow. I mean, seriously, like, okay, I've been on friendship boats a bajillion times, right around, around Crescent Lake, going over to the studios, going to the Swan and the Dolphin, the beach and the yacht, and the boardwalk. I've ridden those boats. And of course they're, they go to Wilderness Lodge and stuff. But I mean, I don't see the draw, right? I mean, I could get there 10 times faster walking.
Oh no, not necessarily. Not for me and my little feet. So you got big, gigantic Cyclops feet. So there's a big difference between you walking and me walking. So
size 12s. I mean,
so I'm Dave, the relaxation guy.
Yes, exactly.
And like, it's a bitch. I don't care. Like I can definitely make that walk, but like I'm in no hurry. Yeah. I want to sit down and enjoy the water. That's how like my family rolls, man. We just like we're so laid back. Like let's just wait let's wait 5 times longer for this boat ride than it take us to get there, but I can sit down and get there.
Exactly. That is exactly correct.
I like
Yes.
the way you guys roll. Okay, maybe I'll try it over marathon weekend because I'm trying to stay off my knee.
I'm getting you on a World Showcase Lagoon friendship boat over.
My knee
There
hurts
you
right now just
go.
podcasting, so I'm in bad shape already. So I could use it.
I'm trying to remember. Can you take a drink on? Because that would be the best, man. You get your margarita or your beer or whatever, then you go on the friendship boat and relax.
No, but I
don't
mean,
think so? You're right. You're staying in World Showcase. I would say yes. You don't
I think so. Like, I don't know. We got maybe get like Kim or someone like an Epcot cast member.
Somebody needs to test this out. Test this theory. Yeah. Can you bring a drink on the friendship boats in World Showcase?
It'd make them a lot friendlier. I mean,
yeah, that would. Yeah.
Yes, they would.
Like friendly skies, you know.
Just don't be seasick out there.
Exactly. Yeah. Hopefully, there's not rough seas. All right, Scott, give us another tip to save some time or steps.
So here's to save some time, and like this might be pretty obvious. So, and maybe a lot of us already do this, but if you're really in a hurry and you want to cut on some attraction time, there's certain attractions where you're in a line and all of a sudden they kind of huddle together, like Guardians of the Galaxy. You're like in this waiting room, or Rock and Roller Coaster, you're in a waiting room. Dinosaur is another one. Like, try to like make your way all the way across the room where like the door is going to open.
Yes.
And you just cut like 150 people by doing that. So try to be creative, like when you enter a line, if you're, and I'm in no hurry. Like I watch those shows. It depends on like the day. Like sometimes I will try to cut all the way to the right, like in Dinosaur, so I can just get out of the pre-show or whatever. And boom, like I'm the first one out of that room and I just cut a bunch of people. I mean, it'll save you like maybe, I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes, but you do that several times throughout the day, it saves you some time. So
it's like the stretching room, right? The amateurs don't know like where to go. Right?
I know exactly. I'm not going to share where it is, but I'm sure most people, 85% of the people listening to this, know which portrait the door always opens on.
Right. Like that separates the men from the boys, the women from the girls, right? Like
you do that throughout the day, you might save an hour. Like it could add up.
That's hilarious. That is so funny. And, Lisa down in Mobile says she's going to test out trying to get a drink on the World Showcase.
Nicely done.
For us. Okay, very cool. Okay, here's my next one. Very simple. Pam Forrester. Pam's out of Disneyland, or she is, at least when we're recording. So I got to get a little Pam Forrester spirit in here. That if you're going to do a table service meal, and you're looking to shave a couple of minutes off your meal, go to the restaurant, but eat at the
lounge.
The lounge, instead of the restaurant. Like for example, when I'm solo, many times I'll go to 50s prime time, and I don't think you can do this anymore though at 50s prime.
Not at 50s, no.
Dang, what a shame, because I've had many a good sampler platter up on the bar with my peanut butter and jelly shake, and it's actually, when you're solo, not only does it shave time, but it's so much better to eat your meal at the lounge, like at the bar. Because like the bartender will, talk to you. You got a little entertainment. Usually, sometimes there's a TV, or there's more interaction. I'm not saying it's like sad to sit at a table by yourself, because like nowadays you can pull out your phone, you can watch TV, you could tweet, you could whatever you want to do. You can catch up on your social media, call your family if you want to, whatever you're gonna do. But when you're at the bar, like it's more exciting. You have other patrons sitting around you, kind of talk about where you're from, kind of catch up on your days, what you've been up to. I love that. Like, I love sitting at the bar, having a full-on meal, and just interacting with everybody. And it's way quicker. They bring out your food like lickety split, and you're in and you're out. You're not messing with the whole dining room scene. So that's a big tip. I mean, Scott, if you guys do that, I mean, do you eat at lounges, or do you prefer to do the table? Because I know you guys slow down. You enjoy your meals.
We like to slow down. I mean, we like those lounges that maybe aren't necessarily tied to a restaurant, like a Geyser Point or a Three Bridges, that are just straight up a lounge. So we kind of like those. But the thing is, like, it's normally just the three of us, and we like to have that like chill time. We're never in a hurry. Really, when we're down there, so very rarely will we do that.
What about you, Rick?
I do like the tip though. Yeah, like especially if you're like a couple or something, and it could save you time for like if you, they could say like, oh, we can get you a table at 9:30 tonight, or if you want to sit at our lounge, we can get you in now. That saves you like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. Can be a huge time saver with that.
Yep. What about you, Ricky? I mean, because I've gone down like solo for just, like I'm just there and have the rest of the night in the park, and I'm hungry, and I'm like, well, why not? I'll try it,
Why not try the lounge? Yeah. I think I've gotten a little more away from the lounges. As far as like when I'm alone, we'll go, Brian and I, occasionally. But I think when I'm alone, and this will be like another tip, for kind of saving time. I don't make my dining reservations, 60 days in advance. I know, shocking. What? Um, so what I will often do though is I will look on the app, and they actually have the ability to see what is available now. And if you're in the parks, a lot of times there will be a restaurant or two that are available. And they're usually available in like 10 minutes. So, usually I'll just play the game of let's see what's available in 10 minutes.
I like that idea because it's kind of fun. I mean, it's like in the old days, like it's like where you get up in the morning, it's kind of like bus roulette. We're gonna go to that park because
exactly. We can't do that anymore thanks to park reservations, but I can do it with my dining. So it's not always like, again, you kind of have to be kind of like, I guess, a little bit more, like us in the sense of like, we've been a few times, we know the restaurants a little bit better and stuff like that. So like, I know like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this meal more, than another meal or whatever. Or sometimes it's a place that I really haven't tried, either ever, or because there are still a few places we haven't tried ever, or, in a long time. And if I pull up that mobile order or the app and see, okay, there's this restaurant now that I can dine at. Again, that can save a lot of time because, you can eat right then and there, and not have to, kind of wait. And it's really handy. It's really helpful to use that feature. I like it a lot. The only problem I ever run up against, and I wish there was a way to like, I get why the Disney's not fixing this problem because they want you to be in the area, but I do wish that like if I found a restaurant at a resort and I was somewhat close in the vicinity to like say it was for in like 20 minutes and I could definitely get there into that 20-minute time frame, like let me be able to make the dining reservation at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I had that capability, but like sometimes, because sometimes I'm at my brother's and I see, Grand Flirting Cafe is available now, but I'm not close enough. I can get there in the 10 minutes that it's going to take, but I'm not close enough at, at his apartment. I have to, and then by the time I get close enough to that restaurant at the resort, it's already gone. So, I wish there was a way to just kind of tweak that a little bit, but I get
you're spot on, Ricky. Like, it's so frustrating me because I do that a lot, like in the room, like as we're like after our break or I'm at the pool or whatever, and I'll see a Beaches and Cream available and like I'm at the Contemporary. Like,
exactly. You're like, I know I can get there in 10 minutes. And
I can get there in 20 minutes. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just kills me that I can't get it,
And then you actually get, that when you get in the car and head over there, that walk-up availability is going to be completely gone, and you're like,
and then they won't even let me into the resort
because I don't have a reservation. True, you don't have a reservation. Yeah, that's a good point too.
So I will say real quick, one that just popped in my head, and it's a simple one, but sometimes taking a ride share like Uber or Lyft when you're down there can save you steps because the ride share will drop you off a lot closer to the park entrance than where the buses drop you off. Sometimes, and it also saves you time too, because especially a park closing. Now you are paying extra, and sometimes you do have to wait a little bit for your Uber, or Lyft. But many times that Uber or Lyft can be there in 5 or 10 minutes. It'll pick you up a lot closer than where you have to walk to a bus. So it can save you time and money, but it's cost again. Well, it's not saving you money, but it's saving you time and steps, but costing you money. So
that's kind of going to be my next one. Is doesn't matter if you have a car or what. If you are on site, always bus to the Magic Kingdom. It'll save you so much time, and it'll save you a lot of steps too. So
yes, it will.
Yeah, because that's it's non-negotiable for me.
It's non-negotiable. You just always have to bus to the Magic Kingdom. It's a double win in this case because you save the time and the steps for sure.
So let's throw in real quick because it's almost marathon weekend. We got some runners listening. We have a huge running squad. Expo Day, I will say, if you have I guess now we'll have that virtual queue. Have we heard anything about the virtual queue as of recording yet for Marathon Weekend? I think we have. I haven't got anything.
I mean, they did it for Wine and Dine, but I believe based on historical years, we should be getting like an event guide probably at the time this episode airs,
exactly.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen because that's what we do. Yeah, by the time this comes out, we'll have it. But here's the thing. What I've noticed, and again, I used to be the person who had to be there, and Scott and I have done this many times. Like, you got to be there right when the expo opens. Like you got to rope drop the expo. But if you are not like a super merchandise person, I'm talking the Run Disney stuff that you got to have. And I don't buy it all. So I just kind of, get what I can get. But I was get like a sweatshirt or something. But if you can go like at 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon or 4, like around like late afternoon or supper time, man, you can get in and out of there so quick. You don't wait in lines for the merch. You get your bib, like nobody's waiting for your bib. You get your shirts. It's like you're a rock star. You're in and you're out. Where, I mean, and again, the virtual queue will probably keep this away because you'll tell you what time you got to be there anyway.
Yeah.
But, in previous years, like if you got there and rope dropped it, you were waiting in that line for literally an hour and a half. And that's just kind of wasted time where you could be doing something else, and go later in the day if you were not, super excited about getting limited run merchandise for the races.
Yeah, one of my favorite expo memories was you and Paige at the 25th, waiting in line in that field.
Oh, dude,
because you had to get this jacket, which
yeah.
you were kind enough to get for me, and I just sat there with your fam, and we just had beers at ESPN while you were in line.
You guys drank beers, and that was actually kind of a nice jacket. It wasn't one of the best, but yeah, it was. I mean, we had it right out in the sun.
It was not the best, honestly. Like the pockets are so small in that jacket.
It was okay. It was average. Yeah, I wear it every once in a while. I'll have to bust it out again. All right, Ricky, give us one more tip though to either save time, or steps or time, and we'll get ready to wrap and call it a weekend.
Yeah, so I think another really helpful tip is actually for Disney's Animal Kingdom. Again, it's kind of using those shortcuts to your advantage. There are different pathways at Disney's Animal Kingdom that you can take. Some are the long pathways, and some cut through like the Tree of Life and things like that, so you get places a little bit quicker. So I think that's something that a lot of people don't take advantage of a lot of time when they're visiting Animal Kingdom, because again, it's so easy to go the loop, the outer loop, the bigger pathways where everyone else is going. But, sometimes those inner loops they're wonderful because you get views that you don't normally get, because when you're going through the outer loops anyway, and you get great views of the Tree of Life and things like that. So I always try to meander through those, pathways. It may not save as much. It should save you some time, but you're just getting a whole different view of the park. And I feel like that's so important as well.
And Diane in the chat, she does bring up a good point. We were talking about going to the Magic Kingdom minivan service.
Oh, yeah.
Magic Kingdom that is a hack where you wouldn't take a bus, but you are paying a premium definitely for that. Let me ask you this. See what you say. Which is, if you're trying to shave time, which is faster from the TTC, the ferry or the monorail? Scott?
I like boats. I like being on boats, but I'm going to go with the monorail is faster.
What do you say?
The line's going to be longer, but you're seeing a lot more, loops around, versus how many boat rides go across.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the monorail is faster overall. I mean, yes, the boat will get more people, but I just feel like you're waiting a lot longer in that sea of people versus with the monorail, like, it's constantly going. So, you're not waiting for, you're not waiting as long for the monorail to fill up, because it's going to be filling up faster than a giant boat will. But another little hack there is, if you are going to the Magic Kingdom, and you see that the line, or you're going back to the TTC from the Magic Kingdom, and you see the line is really, 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 really long.
Say it.
I know.
You're going to say take the report. I know. Don't say it. No, yeah. Don't take the express.
Sorry. Yeah, take the resort.
I'm not going to say it. Okay, you said it.
I mean, it doesn't always pan out. I will say that. But there's a lot of times when it will. So, just consider it, I guess I should say.
Well, too. Okay, here's another thing real quick, because we got to wrap, because we're over time. But speaking of monorails, Disneyland. Okay, so we did this, and Ricky, you probably did this when you were there, right? I don't know that you save. Do you think you save time if you get on? You definitely save a lot of steps. If you get on the monorail at Downtown Disney and it drops, you got to have your theme park ticket.
Yeah.
But it does drop you off in Tomorrowland inside the park. It is a cool, fun ride.
Sometimes it doesn't. Depends on the time of day, because the thing is, you don't have to get off at Downtown Disney, because Disneylanders see that as as a ride,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. Hey, I'm in Disneyland. I'm going to go on the monorail and we're going to take this loop around. That's what 90% of the people do. So if you're trying to get on at Downtown Disney, you got to wait.
That is true. You waited quite a while to get on it, because only about probably maybe half the people got off or left.
Not, I mean, depending on the time of day, but yeah, but I think it's more like 70% stay on. Like it's crazy.
And they don't
So
hold
that will save you steps, but I don't think it's going to save you much time.
That's a good idea. All right. Well, hey, that's going to wrap for today. Hopefully we saved you some time and some steps and got you thinking about it. So if you have shortcuts, 2 ways we can get these out here for the greater good. One is you can let us know on the social media at BRGuestMike, at Ricky Nibs, RAKKINIBS, at Scott. Tag us in those messages over on the social media, either or preferably Twitter, because we can retweet that stuff, or on Instagram. We'd love to get your follow and be able to interact with you this weekend, and we can keep the conversation going over there. But even better, Sunday night, we'll have you, me, and Scotty G. We'll have the BOGP open line where we can continue the conversation. So if we totally missed something that was super obvious, give us a call. Let us know. We'll talk about that Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Facebook and YouTube. But we'd love to keep going with this and, have some fun Disney talk. You ready for the next Disney trip, which I'm excited because I haven't been to Walt Disney World, man, in forever. I've been, Disneyland was my last Disney trip in July. So I haven't been to Walt Disney World since, I guess, Marathon Weekend last year. It's been a year.
May. You were there in May, weren't you? For
cheerleading? Cheer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like
I know your trip's better than you do.
You do. It's crazy.
It's been forever. I mean, it's a long time for me. So, or when the Guardians opened, that's when I was down.
That was
May.
That May.
The same time. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to have a good time with that. So Sunday night, be there, be square. And Scott, maybe you'll be there, maybe not. We'll see. Let's see how strong.
I'll probably be there.
We'll see. All right. Think good thoughts for Scott. All right. Don't forget our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Fill out that quote form while you're there. Mention the show, and we'll be planning a great trip together. Promise to give you my all. Get you the best price possible for no additional cost to you. Again, check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. It's one extra click. It really does help us out. BRGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the show. I think Diane suggested earlier in the chat that we do a Mike in the Midwest about Mike's line dancing days in the Midwest. That is not going to happen.
Oh, well.
Yeah, because that'd be terrible. And I try to, be nice to the patrons. You guys are the super fans. But if you want to get out on the fun shows we do over there, coming over patreon.com/BRGuestPodcast. And I gave our social media, so follow us over there. Join us Sunday night, of course, on Facebook and YouTube for the live call-in show. We turn that over to you. And I think we're set. So we'll get out of here and let you get on with your weekend. I hope you have a wonderful one. So for Ricky and Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you an awesome weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we might go to that Bodie's place, though, Mike, for the anniversary. So that's the place that you heard someone talking about on like ESPNU or something.
What place?
Bodie. So you said there's like a guy that says every time I'm in town for a Michigan State game.
Yeah. It's a steakhouse or something. It was real small, he said.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah, let me know how that goes. And let me say this real quick before I lose it. Edited. Okay. Yeah. Let me know how that is. He says every time he goes to a Michigan State game, that's like he likes to go there better than the game. It's so good.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, Keith, we're so glad to have you here. And it was good. Man, he's been here forever. So it's good to see Keith. Diane, thanks for being here. Rhonda Lee, always here. So have a good one. And you guys all have a good week.
Thanks. See you guys later.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Got to go to the H State Champs.
You got to go. You're gonna have the premium Taco Bell order.
I'm tearing it up tonight, man. I'm so hungry.
But remember, they're gonna charge you like
$4.99 taco pricing. I forgot about it. Yeah. No crap. They know I'm coming. It's gonna be $20.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks,
I'll text you.
See you. Bye.